Hey guys, it's Liza. Welcome back to another video and welcome back to my channel. Finally! I know it's been a minute since I've posted content on here, but I'm hoping I'm going to be able to make it up to you guys with this series. Not to sound overly dramatic, but I have had so much going on in my life over the past couple of years and so much has changed, and a lot of that has to do with this new life that I found as a traveling visual artist, which you're going to see a lot more about in my next 3 videos. But in case you're new here and you have no idea who I am, hi, hello, first of all. My name is Liza Compass and I'm a creative. I love making videos about art, music, and my creative journey as a whole, but really I just love making things and connecting to other inspiring creative people on this platform. I've been wanting to make videos again for a while, so when I had the opportunity to visit Wisconsin for the first time this past summer and do 3 art shows and then a professional colored pencil conference in Cincinnati, Ohio, I figured I would vlog the whole thing and take you guys along for the ride too. I know that I am so incredibly lucky to be able to do this for a living, but at the same time, festival life is not for the faint of heart. It takes a really huge toll on you, both physically, mentally, and yes, even emotionally. I get very honest in this series and a bit vulnerable at times, but I want you guys to get an idea for what my life is really like, and hopefully it'll encourage you that even with all the highs and lows we each experience in our creative journeys, it's normal. It doesn't mean that you're a failure or a success. It just means that you are growing and learning who you truly are as an artist, which I guess that means we're all successes if that's what we're doing. Don't you think? Anyway, I don't want to get too philosophical yet because we have a lot to talk about. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy part 1 of my Wisconsin adventure. Here we go. Allow me to set the scene. It is a sweltering 4th of July at home in Tampa, Florida, but that doesn't matter too much because we're about to shove the last of our bags in my teeny little cargo van and hit the road toward our first destination, Nashville, Tennessee. We have a very long day of driving ahead of us, through cities and rain to rolling hills and bright, beautiful sunshine. But I love driving through these mountains. Maybe it's because the change of scene is what makes me realize that we really aren't in Florida anymore. One of the best parts of this trip is that I actually get to travel with my husband Logan. Believe it or not, this rarely happens, but he had some vacation time to use and we decided to spend it together. He'll be traveling with me for about 2 weeks before flying back home to go to work. But any time we can spend together is precious, especially with all the solo traveling I've had to do these last 2 years. So we're going to make the most of it and make some memories while we're at it too. After yesterday's drive, we decided to sleep in before exploring Nashville today. Prioritizing rest meant that our sightseeing time was pretty limited, but don't worry, we did the most important stuff: food and music. Hubby and I are both vegans, so I had to make sure Logan tried my favorite vegan soul food in Nashville, and I think he approves. Next, we drove around downtown before happening across a show at the Listening Room Cafe. This place was incredible. It was created to support and promote local singer-songwriters, and let me tell you, we are definitely fans of some of the artists we saw there today. While I wouldn't consider myself a diehard fan of country music, I am a fan of powerful storytelling and sheer talent, and that is exactly what we witnessed. I obviously couldn't record the performances, but if you would like to see what I'm talking about, I have links to these talented artists and their original music in the description box below. So remember, when in Nashville, go to the Listening Room. I promise you will not be disappointed. After that, we had another long day of driving ahead. No matter how much I do this, though, it always amazes me just how vast the United States really is, and how diverse the landscape can be. As each new city and country town flies by, it's getting me more and more excited to get to Wisconsin. I've been to a lot of places throughout the US, but ironically, Wisconsin is completely new territory for me. We're driving all the way here to try 3 new art festivals in a completely new state, and honestly, I'm not even sure what to expect. Can this be nerve-wracking? Yes, absolutely it can. But something I've learned over the past few years is the best way to learn is by doing, and you'll never know until you try. What works for one artist may be completely different for another, and when it comes to most creatives, I have yet to come across two identical success stories. That's another reason why it's so important for us to have fun while we travel, because at the end of the day, I'm an artist. The fact that I'm doing this with my life is absolutely absurd, so why on earth would I take anything too seriously? Also, Chicago at rush hour, not fun. Definitely not something to take too seriously. Now it's time to drive off into the sunset, blasting show tunes to keep us awake before we finally arrived in Madison, Wisconsin. We got in pretty late and the exhaustion was real, but after a good night's sleep and a hot cup of coffee the next morning, it is time to get to work, answering emails and tending to social media before the festival setup begins. With 2 days of driving and questionable cell reception throughout, it was nice to sit down at a desk and cross some things off my to-do list. Now today is also set up for Art Fair on the Square. Every art festival is organized differently, but because the show is downtown surrounding the state capitol building, we are only allowed to begin setting up after 6 p.m. We have been advised that the streets are tight, so we should arrive early to our assigned load-in checkpoint to begin lining up. Once we are granted access, we will have 15 minutes to unload everything from the van, leave to go park it so that other artists can pass us, and then come back to begin setting up. And honestly, I don't like the way the clouds are looking right now, so we will see how this goes. So we are currently blocking traffic in a very long queue line, and hopefully we're going to be able to move pretty soon to set up for the art festival. It is currently 5:24 and they're supposed to open the streets at 6. We'll see if that happens, but for right now we are hanging out on our phones and praying nobody hits us from behind. So yeah. Okay, so that was a fun adventure. We queued to come in, we waited for a long time, and then as we drove up it started raining, so we didn't film any of that part because we had to get everything out of the van really quickly and move the car without getting the stuff wet. And I got really turned around trying to find parking in this city, but I actually got parking pretty close to where everything is apparently. So now I just need to find Logan and finish setting up. Okay, well, I feel like a horrible YouTuber. We basically had to set up without you guys because it got crazy, and with the weather and everything else that happened with this show, we just had to put our nose to the grindstone and get it done. But the good news is we got 2 more shows on this trip, so hopefully you'll be able to see the whole process by the time we're done. Anyway, we are gonna finish wrapping this up for tonight and try to get some sleep. Man oh man, was crazy ever an understatement. There were a couple unique setup traits for this show. One of them is just how close everybody is together. They have us squeezed in here like sardines to the point that our tents are actually touching. Not good. But luckily, our neighbors were both very nice because we had to work together as a team to raise our tents and attach our weather walls without knocking anyone over. Plus, it was drizzling, so that's always fun. But we also had to elevate the back 2 feet of our booth to accommodate for the curb in our space. Fire marshal's orders. We knew about this ahead of time though, so I was just glad to see that our cinder block theory worked and that everything stayed stable overnight. Even with a couple of snags, setup really wasn't that bad. The artists around us are awesome, it's a beautiful day today, and I cannot wait to see what the weekend has in store for us. Our morning show ritual consists of hanging art, laying out prints, and making this little booth feel like home for the weekend. It's super important to me that this 10-foot by 10-foot square in the road feels like a safe space for anyone who may need it. A place to escape, a place to contemplate, or something new to find joy and inspiration in. That's what art is to me. It transcends our day-to-day existence into something timeless and deeply personal. And hopefully, everyone can find their own unique story in the colors that I've composed. Okay guys, we are set up for day 2.
can't talk super long because it's 9:30, the show starts at 10, and we already have quite a lot of people walking around. I've sold some stickers, I talked to some people about prints already, and I think it's going to be a really good day, so we'll see what happens.
Shortly after this, we were slammed. It got crazy busy, so unfortunately, I couldn't film much. There were so many people downtown that we lost cell reception for over 2 hours during Saturday's peak. That was stressful, but people were so nice and patient, and luckily we ended up having a really great day. Day 2 was more of the same. Thick crowds, electric energy, and incredible conversations with new friends from all over the country. I can see why this festival has such a prestigious reputation. Overall, we had above average sales, I sold an original, and a ton of prints. I even met some potential commission clients, which is always wonderful. I started running out of things on Sunday, and I had to start embellishing some prints on the spot while I talked to people. Those sold too, so I'll need to figure out how to get more before my next 2 shows. Also, I really need to get better at vlogging. Believe it or not, I am a pretty shy person, and having a camera out in public can sometimes just feel unnatural, especially during a busy show. But hey, that's what happens when you decide to make videos for the internet. I just need a little more practice, but luckily we have 2 more art festivals to go in this series, so by the end of it, I'm sure you're gonna see a little bit of everything we do to make these crazy shows happen. But for now, let's fast forward to Monday. After sleeping off the art show hangover, it was time to finally explore Madison. We found the perfect spot to enjoy an early lunch. Veggie burgers, smoothies, and crayons. What more could a girl ask for? I guess it's a good thing I brought my sketchbook. We have no agenda for today, nowhere to be, and no looming to-do list. Today, we get to enjoy the moment, walk the city, and enjoy the sights and sounds of a new place. Sometimes, the days in between shows make me feel a little guilty. After all, shouldn't I be holed up somewhere in a makeshift studio getting some real work done? It's not like these trips are made to be a vacation. But the truth is, what I'm doing here can be productive in a very profound way. It just all comes down to your perspective and your intention. A few years ago, I made a conscious decision to become more present in my own life again. You see, I became complacent about the everyday, content to coast through life, paying little attention to anything unless something exciting or out of the ordinary happened. It was nothing to blame myself for, really, because after all, that seems to be the new normal these days. Get up, go to work, come home, take care of the household, wash, rinse, repeat. And beyond that, we're always looking for external stimuli, something brighter and shinier and more absurd than our last obsession. Because beyond that, what is there to look at? What is there to do? What else could possibly be worthy of our attention? Isn't it funny that even though we possess this infinite creative potential within our own minds, we still struggle to see through the noise? I've struggled with this more than I care to admit. It's taken me years of conscious efforts and patience to feel present in my own body. But do you know what I've come to realize? I exist in this pocket of space and time for a reason, and I don't always need to understand why. I think most creative people are just trying to find a place to fit in, like it's something outside of them to chase after. And maybe it is. Or maybe it's a collage of things. A mix of materials and snippets from the stuff we call life. And if that's the case, maybe we should be a little bit more careful, because you wouldn't want to overlook something great. This curious little watercolor came home with me, by the way. It spoke to me that day, and as I sit here editing this video, months later, I think I know exactly why. All I can say is, life is beautiful. Let's not take it for granted. We have one more day in Madison before we need to head to our next destination, and there is one place we really want to explore while we still have the chance. Hidden away here in the cow pastures of Verona, Wisconsin, you would never know this place existed unless you already knew where to look. This place was the talk of the show this weekend, and you're about to see exactly why. This is the intergalactic headquarters for Epic Systems. Ever heard of it? Me neither. Turns out, Epic is a medical data tech giant based here in Wisconsin, and they have the coolest, most jaw-dropping office buildings you could ever imagine. This entire place is like an adult Disneyland, and the best part, it is filled to the brim with original works of art. So, how did we hear about this place? Well, let's just say Epic's reputation precedes itself. There were artists at last weekend's show getting completely bought out by this place. Literally. We thought that alone was incredible. But as we walk the halls of this literal office building, sorry, that's still crazy to me. This office building has art from artists that I know, that I have met from my travels all over the country, magically and impossibly curated into the halls of this, I'm not even sure what to call this place. It's heaven. It's heaven on earth. They even had heaven and hell. Uh-oh. I guess HR gets involved if you gotta go there. Huh. Anyway, we walked around for hours and couldn't even begin to scratch the surface of this place. We spent a lot of time in the wizarding world, but there were also buildings themed around gaming, the Wizard of Oz, international travel, and so much more. They even have a fully functioning farm on the campus, which we need to visit on our next trip. It really was incredible. I took so much footage, but nothing you're seeing here could even describe this place and really do it justice. Maybe it has something to do with walking through a realm of infinite possibilities. It's beyond definition. Experiences like this remind me that there is a space for all kinds of art in this world. If you can dream it, it belongs somewhere, and no artist should ever be afraid to let their creativity run wild. I too have so much that I aspire to be, but it can be easy to get tripped up with self-criticism, chasing an idealized version of yourself, your art, or what kind of legacy you're destined to leave. But here's the deal. You'll always find someone better than you if you look hard enough. But real art was never meant to be compared. It's an extension of our own humanity, not a prize to be won. And trust me, I am no stranger to this battle over self-doubt. The imposter syndrome is real. It still is. Especially when I'm surrounded by artists who are far more successful than me. But I'm here. I too am far more successful and capable than I used to be, than I ever dreamed of. And you wanna know what the coolest part is? I'm just getting started. Well guys, that is it for part 1. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you're subscribed because there's 2 more parts to come after this and you're not going to want to miss them because I think they're even better than this video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you ring that notification bell and that it's wiggling so you're going to get notified every single time I post a new video. Every interaction helps this channel immensely. So if you want to help me get back on track as I navigate this platform again, please leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of the video, like it, share it, and again, subscribe, share it with your friends, help this community grow because I want to keep making videos like this for you guys. Next week in part 2, Logan and I are going to be heading to another art show in Sheboygan, Wisconsin before I have to part ways with him halfway through the video, and then I go on a solo adventure to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to see Lake Superior. That's this one. This one right here. It's my first time going, and I'm pretty excited to share that with you guys because the video does get very real. It gets vulnerable in spots in, I think, a very beautiful way. And I hope you'll enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. But until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next video.